again, Karen from Budget Health Check. Today's topic is another video about payday loans, but from a different angle, and trust me, this is one that you will want to hear. If you like what I am about to say, make sure that you share it via social media. Let's get the word out and let's educate as many people as possible so that they're not making a bad decision today, panicking via the coronavirus or thinking they have no other options, and then they realise that they have actually done something today that is going to cause a big problem for them in 3-6 months when the coronavirus is actually finished. So today I want to talk about payday loans and how lenders view them. A payday loan prior to the coronavirus automatically ruled out mainstream low interest rate lenders. I have 20 years of lending experience, so I know that there's good lenders with low interest rates and there's the not so good lenders that deal with people that have low incomes, bad credit, bankruptcies, etc. If you have applied for a payday loan prior to the coronavirus, this is actually deemed as a form of financial hardship. So your banks and your financial institutions look at it as though you have had to enter into financial hardship. Doesn't matter whether you took it out or not, the fact that you inquired is all that matters. Now, I fully respect that in the current climate, a payday loan might be your only option. I do get that. However, the banks and financial industries and governments have not made any announcements that I have seen, and I'm in the industry, to say that payday loans, as a result of this coronavirus, are going to be treated differently. So what that means for you is that if you run out and get a payday loan, which may be your only option, I respect that, but it could be noted down then that you were in financial hardship. You have now, through no fault of your own, ruled out low interest rate mainstream banks and mainstream type of lenders, the big lenders, the ones that have lower interest rates. You have now put yourself into a situation that you would have to pay a higher interest rate after the coronavirus is finalised and over, because you had to apply for a payday loan now, which is totally understandable. You're out of work. You've lost your income. The business you worked for closed down. You had to close down if you were self-employed. I get it. But what you don't realise is that if you apply for a payday loan today to solve a problem today, that could potentially cause you problems if you apply for a loan, a credit card, etc., after the coronavirus is finalised. Now, no bank, institution or government has given us rulings around that yet as to how it would be treated, if they would not form part of that financial hardship anymore, or whether they will just turn a blind eye to it. I don't know, but I fully respect that governments around the world and financial institutions around the world have a lot more pressing matters that they're dealing with than this question. However, it is an important question, because there is going to be hundreds of thousands of people that are going to have to rely on some form of payday loan in order to keep their bills paid, in order to put food on the table. And I think it is very important that we be asking the question and say, if I apply for this loan, is that going to then affect me getting a loan approval later on? You could be in your job for 10 years, you could have a house, you could have a lot of great things going for you, but the downside is going to be you apply for that payday loan and all of a sudden you can't get approved anymore in 3 or 6 months' time at the low interest rates that you're used to. I would like to see the governments or banks turn around and say, whilst the coronavirus pandemic is going on, this will be waived. However, it is a government rule. It's a government legislation that the banks and the finance companies cannot lend to you if you are in financial hardship. And the general rule of thumb is payday loans are a form of financial hardship. Now, I personally don't think it's fair because you're not irresponsible with your money right now. Well, some people might be, but I'm assuming you're not. Your employer had to close the doors because of a government legislation that said that they had to. You didn't steal money. You didn't tell your boss where to go and get fired. You haven't done anything wrong. The government has imposed these restrictions on trade, which has resulted in you now having to rely on payday type of loans, potentially. I would like to see the government or banks turn around and say that if you apply for a loan whilst this coronavirus pandemic is underway, that will not affect your chances moving forward. Unfortunately, prior to the coronavirus coming out, it does. And I haven't heard any different that it's changed. So these are things that you need to be wary of. I'm not saying to you don't go out and get a payday loan. If you need to and that's your only option, go ahead. What I am saying to you though is just be aware that this is how payday loans are currently viewed. And if you are going to be expecting or thinking about getting a loan, a credit card, after the coronavirus wears off and it gets better, be aware that it could affect your chances. You could be told no for the first time in your life because you have used a payday lender. If there is other options available to you, I do recommend that you try those first. Payday lenders, people are going to need them more so now than ever, but you do need to understand that if you're using them, this is what the outcome potentially is going to be. And I do hope that in time, the governments and the banks do turn around and say, we understand that people have been thrust into this situation, therefore we're going to change our policies due to the coronavirus so that it does not affect you guys detrimentally after the coronavirus is dealt with, where you can then obtain credit as though it never happened in the first place. That would be our ideal to see. Whether we see it or not, I don't know. I hope that in time, when things settle down a little bit, the government and the banks do look at this as an issue, because I can foresee it's going to hurt a lot of people if something is not raised about it, and I'm the one that I'm happy to raise it. If this video has been helpful and beneficial to you, please share it and help me get the message out there. There are so many people that are going to be thinking about this as a solution, and I really would love for them to listen to this video so that they know the impact that it can happen 6 months down the track. I am not standing here and saying don't take out a payday loan. That is not what I'm doing. If you need it to keep things going, please do it. But be aware that this is how they were viewed prior to the coronavirus. To my knowledge, that has not changed, and therefore there is a possibility that if you apply for a payday loan now, for a while after the coronavirus is finalised, you may find it more difficult to get approved for a loan and start cleaning up your situation. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Like my Facebook and Instagram pages, subscribe to me on YouTube. I will keep sending out messages like this with some different things for you guys to think about and take into consideration so that you are making the right decisions for you on a fully informed basis. Thank you.